presenting the welcome speech amongst the most esteemed personalities who have won accolades in their respective fields, Dr. Assisi Menacheri and Dr. Giselle George. Before we begin this webinar, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all the viewers for joining hands with us to make this webinar a successful one. Webinars are organized and conducted by Parul University to the general audience to gain insight and information that would remain effective in their discussion. For today's webinar was chosen keeping in mind the interest of the youth. I would like to introduce our guests. Dr. Assisi Menacheria. Dr. Menacheria serves as the Vice President at QMPG Industrial Certifications and Services. He has demonstrated excellence in multiple areas. His mantra is love whatever you do and enjoy the process. He is excited about whatever he does. He was a top performing sales professional in India and one among the top 50 in the world, earning multiple international awards consecutively for 3 years from US and Europe. He has conducted more than 1,150 third-party audits in 25 plus sectors in the areas of quality, environment, food safety, health and safety, and social accountability that includes manufacture of nuclear-grade uranium. He is also a certified Lean Six Sigma Black Belt. He has conducted 97 third-party audits in the area of K-12, higher education, non-formal education, training and knowledge management in 3 countries. He also served as the Director of Hycon India Limited, Director and CEO of Horsch Remedies Limited, and Director Marketing of Zeba Lab Furnishing Private Limited. He has consulted and conducted trainings in more than 350 organizations during the past 18 years. He is an alumnus of IIM Ahmedabad for the full-time FDPM program, VSMED, Bharatiyar University and University of Madras. He is trained in physics, applied in clinical psychology, HRM, HRD, management, marketing, and enterprise risk management with an earned PhD in the area of emotional intelligence and managerial effectiveness. He is an astute practitioner of Sahaj Mark, a method of Raj Yoga or mindfulness practice for past 30 years. He is the author of 9 books and one is translated to European languages, 9 European languages. He has worked as an associate professor, and dean at multiple management schools. His latest 2 books, the core focus is in the area of mindfulness. He has conducted a meta-analysis of wisdom literatures of Oriental, Eastern, and Western literatures using thematic analysis and working on his 10th book on mindfulness named as Essence of Excellence. He has traveled to US, Europe, Canada, Middle East, and Far East to attend and present papers in international conferences. He has published 28 articles in peer-reviewed journals of repute. On behalf of Faculty of Commerce, Parul University, I welcome you, sir. Now I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Giselle George. She is the wife of Dr. Menacheria, completed her graduation in education and mathematics and post-graduation in mathematics and business administration. She came out as a topper for KAU MAT entrance test with the Federal Bank Hormus Terrapin Scholarship for doing her MBA ABM covering full fees. Later, she successfully completed her doctoral studies in an area, employee engagement, role of spiritual intelligence and knowledge management. Presently, she is working as a faculty in the area of quantitative techniques and organizational psychology. She is an author of 4 books, half a dozen research papers, and attended or presented papers in international conferences in Switzerland, India, and Malaysia. She is working on her next book, The 7 Spiritual Laws to Face Failures. I welcome you, ma'am. Part 1 of this webinar was graced with positive feedbacks from students and other migrants. I ensure the second part of the webinar will be profitable and fruitful for everyone present here. Before I invite our speaker to address all of you, let's have a quick recap of part 1 of the webinar. The first session commenced with a video to kindle interest on mindfulness. We discussed about the basic concepts of mindfulness and concluded that mindfulness means to be conscious and to be aware. Consciousness and awareness are the 2 words often used interchangeably about mindfulness. We discussed about the transactional levels of learning, briefed about the cycle of aptitude or competence in livelihood. We also gave a skill building session using a psychometric inventory. Further, we discussed about the existential or absolute levels of learning. Moreover, we gave a skill transfer session to experience what is existence by asking questions related to present, past, and future. We discussed about 5 C's of scarcity mentality and how human beings are conditioned to demonstrate scarcity mentality and about its relationship with learning. The 5 C's are following: competition, complaint, criticism, comparison, and contention. Further, we gave an introductory note on SQ3R and suggested to do as an exercise.
Professor Shreya, I hope you can hear me well, right? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, you're audible.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we will continue where Dr. Giselle has stopped in one of her previous slides, that is existential or experiential learning. Now, if you observe, the way we take forward this particular training program is, well, we started with, transactional levels of learning where there is a give and take. Then we forwarded it into, existential or experiential learning. And our thrust was on to provide a skill building session, and we have already completed 3 skills. Now, during a period of past 40 minutes, we have transferred a skill. First, the skill was to know thyself about our own interest and authenticity to learn by using a questionnaire or inventory. The second skill was to realize what is existence in the now, here and now. And third one was specifically focusing on the age group of 8th standard to a master level or even up to the level of PhD, where SQ3R learning is very much important, where whenever we learn using those activity-based stages when being applied in cognitive learning, you forget the time. You don't get bored. Usually, an individual has 21 minutes attention span once you learn theory. And after reading that, we may get bored. But when we do this as SQ3R, then we do it as an activity, as an experience the learning process go through, where the passive learning transforms to active learning. So this is where we are now.
Now, let's go through learning, unlearning, and relearning from an experiential and behavioral perspective. This is altogether a totally different perspective of existential learning. It was, in fact, Dr. Pavlov, a great behavioral scientist, who came up with this theory called as classical conditioning when he worked or when he was doing research about gastric juices formed in stomach. Okay, what he did was very interesting. So Dr. Pavlov and team took 3 decades to formulate a theory on behavioral learning. What is that? Let's try to understand about it. Okay, so what he did was, on a particular day, he rang bell and fed one of his dog food. So he rang bell. After ringing bell, he fed the dog food. So he continued it for several times, many a times. Now let us observe what changes happened. Okay, so on a particular time he rang the bell, but no food was served. But dog continued salivating. So from this he identified that all behaviors are learned from own experience, exposure, whether good or bad, desirable or undesirable, adaptive or maladaptive. Please understand this. All behaviors are learned from own experience, including neurotic, emotionally unstable or borderline personality behaviors. So the positive aspect is that if all behaviors are learned, it is also possible to unlearn the behavior. So one of the major input of Pavlov is the unlearning side. So let's get into the experiment. What he did was, he again rang bell, but he stopped providing food where no food was provided. But after a few times, dog also stopped the salivation. So he demonstrated that all learned behaviors can also be unlearned, extincted, or stopped, but maybe gradually. There are several techniques. The one is changing the environment or strengthen the cognition, the thought process, or positive thinking are the required resources. So, unlearning is definitely possible. Whatever being learned in the past, because one individual is exposed, can be unlearned is something very positive. But what are the challenges? See, what Pavlov did is, after some time, he rang the bell, but he stopped serving food. Then again he started serving food. So once or twice only. The most important point is once or twice. Now the third time dog began salivating. So initially food was served, then he stopped serving food, then again food was served. Third time spontaneously the saliva started coming from dog's mouth. So the challenges to unlearn is spontaneous recovery of the learned behavior. Think about someone who learns a behavior called as consuming alcohol, and he want to stop consuming alcohol, or otherwise he want to unlearn the behavior. Not only he himself, his family also want him to unlearn the behavior, and he was taken to a hospital, to a de-addiction camp. As well, he was taken to a prayer therapy or a retreat, where once all these interventions was over, he stops consuming alcohol. So the unlearning happens. However, whenever he meet his old friends, or whenever he was exposed to the old environment, he again consume. So this is one of the challenge to unlearn a behavior, that is spontaneous recovery of a learned behavior. The major threat in learning the behavior is the spontaneous recovery part. There are many other challenges also. It is called as generalization. So it is another threat. To justify same behavior, we find some reason or a defense. A student who does not study, blew hot and cold in anger, he may find out a lot of reasons. It could be, alarm didn't ring today, so the power went off. So one of my friend telephoned me and I was communicating to her. It could be anything. So now any such stimuli that elicit the behavior, and he or she find out a generalized reason. Okay, so perhaps a person who consumes alcohol, he would say that today I had a negative experience and I was sad. One of my friends passed away, so I consumed alcohol. And the same person would say, today I had a lot of happiness, it was my daughter's birthday, so I consumed alcohol. So generalization is another challenge to unlearn. And beyond that, what is the great solution? The great solution is that anyone is capable of discriminating between good and bad, and those people will be successful in his life. For example, whenever we see a red signal, in our traffic light, so what do? We stop. Why? So we do have the power to discriminate. So this is very much applicable in the case of smoking, drinking, upskilling, etc. We need to have the power to discriminate between good and bad. So I would like to add two more behavioral learning perspectives of two other people. The first gentleman's name is Skinner. You would have heard about him. You would have heard about the pigeon in a particular small cage, where the pigeon was introduced to food as well as mild electric shock. He told the positive actions could be promoted and negative to be punished. So he put a hungry pigeon in a box, having devices to attract it to some liver, and when touched, the liver delivers some food, that is H. Similarly, the PGN repeats the action of pressing it whenever it is hungry, K, that provide mild electric shock, where PGN stop repeating the behavior. So, the positive behaviors are promoted and negative behaviors are punished. So while doing this, the learning and unlearning happens. Similarly, Albert Bandura, in his social learning theory, also introduced the concepts of behavioral learning, where he discussed about three elements. The first one is external stimulus, the second one is external reinforcement, and most importantly, the cognitive mediation process. For example, food is an external stimulus for you to eat it and stay healthy. Sex is another external stimulus. Okay, so similarly, okay, there is an external stimulus for everything, and when you do that, there is an external reinforcement, something like applause. Okay, and your cognitive mediation process, okay, it means your internal thought process that gives a meaning to this particular external stimulus and reinforcement. Okay, and your behavior is depending on that, how you interact with these three elements. So psychological functioning involves a reciprocal interaction among three interlocking set of influences, such as behavior, cognitive process, and environmental factors. These are three elements that Dr. Albert Bandura put forward in his social cognitive theory, or also called as social learning theory. So, from a behavioral perspective, from an experiential perspective, from an existential perspective, okay, there are three basic methodologies. One is classical conditioning. The second one is operant conditioning put forward by Skinner, where positive actions are promoted and negatives are punished. And Albert Bandura, according to him, 5 interventions can be used by social psychologists called as live modeling, symbolic modeling, role playing, participant modeling, and code modeling to relearn new behaviors. There are 3 stages here. The first one is learning, then you have to unlearn it and relearning new behaviors from the perspectives of social learning theory. So the first live modeling is you to demonstrate, express, and involve in the real life. And symbolic is you observe a videotaped or picture. And role playing is a third one, where imitation of modeled behaviors are being done. Then participant modeling is where your professors provide you a training on how to face interviews, where you will be allowed to participate in the interview process. So how to handle stressful situations. And covert modeling are being used by using imaginations. So in order to change in behavior, in order to unlearn and relearn new behaviors, according to Albert Bandura or his philosophy of social learning theory, 5 techniques are used as we discussed now.